This is probably going to be the last chapter for now. After this chapter, after chapter 6, we're going to get into the rhythms. So now we're going to be studying the rhythms. So just to read the introduction, it says when we analyze the rhythm strip, we are looking for pathology in the form of arrhythmias. Arrhythmias can originate in any of the heart's pacemakers. Remember that pacemakers are sinus node, AV junction, and then the if it starts going into the impulse starting in the ventricles, that's when it gets dangerous. Okay, but the sinus node is a healthy one. Some of these rhythms are being, I can't say that word, benign. I can't say that word, causing no problem, and others are lethal, killing almost instantly. Okay, it's important to know not just what rhythm the patient is in, but what rhythm preceded it and what's normal for this particular patient, because every patient is different. You got to make sure that you're on the same page with the nurse all the time. Still, you still should be looking out for lethal rhythms. Even so-called normal rhythms or heart rates can be cause for concern. For example, if a patient has a heart rate of 110 abnormally fast for 2 consecutive days, and then all of a sudden it drops to 66, which is still normal, but that's not normal to drop from 100 to 66. That's not, that's something, what does it say, cause for concern. It may be a sign of trouble. The heart rate may be at 66 on its way to zero. Always look at the trend, what they're running. Only so much information can be obtained from a single rhythm strip. Comparing the present rhythm strip to previous ones paints a better picture of the patient's condition. In the previous chapters, you learned how to identify the waves and the complexes on rhythm strips and how to calculate the heart rate and measure intervals. So, like it's saying right here, now we're going to put it all together. Okay, so it says 5 steps to rhythm interpretation. Are there even any QRS? Because there are, some of them don't even have QRS. So you got to look out for that. Does it even have QRSs? Do they all look the same? Are they consistent? Are they all, are they running consistently? The R to R. Number 2 is the rhythm regular but interrupted or irregular. Compare the R to R intervals. That's something else to look for. What is the heart rate? If the heart rate is greater than 100, the patient is said to have tachycardia. If the heart rate is less than 60, the patient has bradycardia. Are there P waves? If so, what is the relationship to QRS? In other words, are the P waves always in the same place relative to the QRS, or are the P's in different places with each beat? Are any P's not followed by the QRS? Are the P waves all the same shape? Does the shape vary? Is a P to P, which is also almost like the R to R, but it's P to P, the distance between the consecutive P waves, are they regular? And number 5, what are the PR and QRS intervals? What are they? Are they within normal limits, or are they too short or they're too long? So this is giving you, so if you want to write that down for your notes, it's up to you. Are there QRS complexes? Is it regular but interrupted or irregular? What is the heart rate? Are there P waves? And what are the PR to QRS intervals? Okay, so right here it's telling you what is normal. What is normal? So it says, you'll recall that the heart's normal pacemaker is in the sinus node. The normal sinus originating from the sinus node is called sinus rhythm. Like I said before, and I'm going to keep saying, the majority of the heart rates that you'll see are normal sinus rhythm. And some might be sinus rhythm, but they might have PVCs, PACs, they might have pauses, they might have other things going on. So it's not like one rhythm and that's it. It would be good if each rhythm was just sinus rhythm and that's it. But sometimes it says sinus rhythm with something else, But to have a normal sinus rhythm, it must have narrow QRS complexes in the uniform shape. That means all the same. See, like this one down here, all this, and you have lead 1 and lead 2. That's normally what you see places. The majority of the places should have 2 leads you can look at. So in case something's going on with lead 1, you can see lead 2. If they're all both messed up, then they should probably change the leads. But what they're saying is uniform shape, consistent. Are there QRSs? There should be QRSs in every marching beat. They should be thin or narrow. They should have, like they said, the uniform shape, which is P, Q, R, S, that goes up and then down, and then the T wave. That's what the normal uniform shape looks like. Regular space QRS complexes. So there should be in the same, it should be spaced out the same, like very neat, very pretty. That's what a normal heart rate is, right? Heart rate should be between 60 to 100 beats per minute. Within this 6 second right here is showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that'd be 80 beats per minute. That's normal. Upright, rounded matching P waves married to the QRS complexes in the same place preceding each QRS. So there should be a P wave right before the QRS, and every time there should be a P wave, and there should be what they say married to them means the same place at all times. That's what a normal heart rate would be, the same shape and everything. PR interval between 0.12 seconds to 0.20 seconds, constant from beat to beat. Remember, from the beginning of the P wave to the beginning of the QRS, it should have the same. Let me see if I can see this one. This one, it's from the beginning of the 1, 2, 3, about three little squares, something like that. They should be the same. And if it's longer, if this little P wave is longer over here, then there's a problem. It has a name for that. That's not. But normal one should be between 0.12 to 0.20 seconds, constant beat to beat. QRS intervals should be less than 12. Remember, each little box is 0.04, 0.04, 0.04. So this QRS, from the beginning of the QRS to the end of the QRS, should have, was it 3 boxes or less? 3 boxes and less, or something like that. So it should be that. If it's longer, that means there's a name for that. There's a problem. There's a name for that rhythm. Okay, so it says arrhythmias, on the other hand, will exhibit some combination of the following. So arrhythmias, that means abnormal, right? Abnormal rhythms. QRS complexes that are absent or abnormally shaped. P waves that are absent, multiple number. If they have a lot of P waves, if you have like 2, or they're not in the same place, they're running around in the whole, before the QRS, just all types of places, then that's a problem. Or abnormally shaped, that's a problem. Abnormally prolonged or abnormally short PR interval. So if the P wave is too long, like too far back or too forward, there's a name for that rhythm. It's abnormal, that's not the name of it. I'm just saying that's abnormal, so it has a name to it. And we'll get into the names starting from chapter 7 to chapter 11. I think that's when we'll be seeing the names of the rhythms. Abnormally prolonged QRS intervals. The QRS also, if it's too wide, then there's a problem. Abnormal. Heart rate that is abnormally slow or too fast. Also, the heart rate, if it's less than 60 or more than 100, that's not normal. They have names for that. Irregular rhythm, or rhythm that has interruptions by premature beats or pauses. It can also get it's also abnormal, like I said, if it's interrupted. And if it's interrupted constantly, then it can get worse. So for the most part, maybe in the next time we can go over some because you have kind of an idea I'm just gonna go over one real quick. This is a double lead strip. This is beautiful because there was one place that me and my Javi went to that we worked. There was only one lead. Not good, because sometimes this can have artifact you don't know it's true or not. If you have one lead, you don't know 100% if it's real or not. If you have two leads or three leads, you can go in there and see other leads, and you can see if it's, if it's false or not. So two leads is beautiful. The top strip is labeled lead 2 and the bottom is lead 1. QRS complexes, there are QRS complexes on the strip. They're all the shape the same in each lead. Regularity, it's regular, it's marching out, and it's the same time every time. R by R. Intervals is just telling the from before still. Intervals all measuring about 18 small blocks. Heart rate, since the rhythm is regular, we choose. Okay, well, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna see, because you divide. There's two other ways to measure heart rate, but they're pretty compared to just counting each one. This is a little harder, so we're not gonna do the heart rate. We're just gonna do the average. That's how I'm gonna show you. Matching P waves preceding each QRS. P waves are married to the QRS complexes. They are in the same place relative to the QRS. All P waves are followed by QRS. P to P intervals is regular, meaning the P waves are regularly spaced. The PR interval is about 12 seconds normal and is constant from beat to beat. And the QRS is about 0.8, so it's normal. So this whole rhythm right here, it's normal. It followed all these little rules for it to be normal. And we'll get into some more harder rhythms later. But that's it for chapter 6.